All right. Royals left fielder Alex Gordon, thanks for taking some time out for us. How are you doing these days?
A lot of free time, so happy to be here. Let's do this.
All right. So yesterday was 4 weeks, I believe, since spring training got suspended. You guys were getting ready to play a game in Surprise that day. What do you remember from that day, and what was it like from a player's perspective?
It was kind of a crazy day. We were hitting in the cage at the time when we found out the news. I think I was the first one that found out in the cage. We got a pretty big area there, and we had coaches, players, everyone doing their thing as usual. My wife actually texted me and kind of found out from somebody else in a different organization that the season was canceled. So that was the text I got in the cage was season canceled, and we all just started looking at each other, kind of just in disbelief of what are we doing, like what's going on, and then after that it was just kind of like a snowball effect. Just kept the news just kept getting worse and worse by I think it was like 2 or 3 days. So
And right in the aftermath of that, a lot of guys, some guys stayed for a little while, some guys went home right away. How did you decide what you were going to do? Just because obviously you didn't really know what the situation was going to be.
yeah, a lot of people just left right away. It was our kids' spring break, so at the time, school hadn't been canceled yet. So we figured let's just stay down in Arizona for a week. The weather's nice here. Just enjoy the free time with the kids, and do a lot of things outside with them. But then once we found out that there might be a travel ban, we kind of got on a plane right away and flew home. And luckily, everything went pretty smoothly, and we were able to get back to KC, where our home is, and we've been here ever since. So.
Uh, So now you're during spring training and during the season, you're a guy who's really detail, or I should say, routine oriented.
Yeah.
So what does the daily routine look like now, and how different is it?
It is detailed, especially when you have three kids. A lot of people probably know you have to have a routine and not try to, just come up with something during the day. So I try to actually wake up at 5:30 every morning. Right now, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 days a week. I wake up at 5:30. I start working out at 6. Usually end by like 7:15. And then that's when the kids start rolling out of bed, and at about 8:45, 9 o'clock, I'm pretty fortunate at my house. I have a cage in the backyard, and a lot of people might know my younger brother who used to play for the Royals lives out here in KC. So he comes over, just him. So there's not a lot of people over, but he comes over and helps me, with the cage work, hitting, playing catch, and then I do a little bit of conditioning at the end. So I'm pretty fortunate. I know a lot of guys aren't right now that are playing baseball. I have a full gym, a full batting cage, so being able to get my work in, and I just trying to keep everything I gained from the off season and spring training, keep that momentum just in case something does come up and we have to get back into action.
Okay, that's your brother Derek, right?
Brother Derek, yeah,
Yeah,
he actually works for
trains some guys, right? He like works with guys and
PSP, which is involved with Mac and Sites too. He's a personal trainer and does things like that. So
okay. So now with the kids, because I think Kansas was pretty early saying that they weren't going back to school, right? So have you and your wife had to be teachers now?
yeah, yeah. The wife is the teacher. So after I get done hitting, that's when school starts, and so we have a 9-year-old boy, a 6-year-old boy, and then a 2-year-old girl. And the boys go to school, and then I take Joey, our girl, outside and play with her for a while. So could kind of keep her out of their hair and let them get to work. So I'm more of the PE recess teacher, and my wife does more of the real school. So
Okay, I was going to ask because I've got some friends who've sort of been pushed into that too, and they were telling me about with the little ones doing letters and numbers, that's fine, but then you start get a couple of grades in, remembering some of that math and geography and all that stuff can be a little interesting.
it'd be tough for me. Math, I was pretty good at, but other than that, it was a struggle for me. So anytime a math question comes up, that's when I kind of come into play. But I think you really appreciate what these teachers do on a daily basis with these kids once you try to homeschool them for even a week.
So now, how often are you in touch with teammates during this whole period here? And is it just usually through, you know, phone, text, or I hear a lot of guys, are keeping in touch through video games and things like that too.
Yeah, I'm not a video game guy, but I mean, it's a daily basis. Keeping in touch with the guys, we have a pretty good group chat that we kind of, someone just chimes in on a daily basis, and then we kind of go back and forth with that. And it's been good to keep in contact with them, keep sane with them, with everything that's going on, and just knowing that we should be playing right now. So just to keep that brotherhood together and all that kind of stuff. So it's good to talk to them and kind of vent out with everything that's going on, baseball being canceled or delayed, whatever. So
I was gonna say, is the tone of that just sort of a lot of like, guys feeling, just like they miss each other, or is there a lot of, just sort of asking about when's this gonna end, and just sort of, I think you used the term venting. So what are those conversations like?
I think it's different for every guy. For me, being 36, being in the league for as long as I have, it's maybe a little bit different than the guys just coming up and really wanting to establish themselves in the big leagues and play. Not that I don't want to play, but I think everyone has a different mindset right now. But it's just we have good friendships, and it's more communicating about baseball and just keeping up on life and stuff like that. So. We all miss it. We all miss each other. We all miss the competitiveness and just the season in general. So just little stuff like that.
And now, because you're a player rep, are you hearing a lot of these different things? I mean, like we hear stuff like today. I think the latest was talking about maybe making the Cactus League and the Grapefruit League sort of like the two leagues. And earlier this week, there's a talk about sort of everybody in Arizona. I'm like, are you hearing this sort of things on a regular basis just because of the position you've got there?
Yes, I do. And we're pretty fortunate to have the Players Association that we have and to have members in the big leagues on every team that are, on the conference call, keeping in touch, letting other players know through our phone calls what's going on. But, right now, everything, it changes on a weekly basis just because there's so much uncertainty with what's going on as far as, the coronavirus and what lies ahead. So it's more of, just being prepared for something moving forward, and it's all speculation. So, you just have to keep your head up, keep trying to stay in shape and ready to go, and just let the Players Association, MLB, take care of, all that stuff. And
Yeah, a lot of players, even some guys on your team this week have sort of been asked about the whole thing where everybody would potentially be in the same place and sort of be almost in this bubble. What was sort of your initial reaction? I mean, like, obviously you mentioned you've been at home this time with the kids. I mean, the idea of 4 months sort of enclosed in Arizona, what were your initial thoughts? Obviously, it's still speculation.
right. I think at the beginning of all these talks and the beginning of the coronavirus and talking with agents, talking with the Players Association, they just let the players know that we need to be prepared for, everything. So it's not going to be a regular season, but I think all players are okay with that, with what's going on with the world and everything. We just want to, we want to get back to playing and get back to competitiveness, but at the same time, we want to get back to giving, our nation or this world something to watch and something to hang on to. So if being in Arizona, quarantine for a couple months without fans is the way it's going to be, then I think all players are going to be up for that, and just to bring, everyone together.
And obviously, we talked to you about being apart from the teammates, trying to stay in shape and everything. What do you feel like has been the toughest part of this sort of holding pattern that you guys have been in?
I always try to look at the positive with everything, just in life in general. So I told you I have a gym and a cage, so I've been pretty fortunate to stay active and stay in shape, and I think a lot of guys have that too. So that's always a good thing. But at the same time, I've kind of stepped back, and I've spent a lot of time with my family and my kids, and I really haven't had even though it's not summer yet, but a really, summer during the baseball season, time with them that I can spend, bike rides, play on the swing set, just on a daily basis. So that's always been, something positive to look at, I guess, with everything that's going on.
And since we're streaming on Facebook, we're able to get some questions from folks. And so, got Hudson, who's a 6-year-old, asked how he can bat as well as you. And then his mother wanted to know if you always batted left-handed, or if somebody, a parent or coach, sort of guided you to that change later.
Well, you're 6 years old, so I would say the best thing for you right now is just to keep repetition, keep trying, keep working. I know 36 in the big leagues now. I'm still trying to do things differently. So always have an open mind, always trying to learn, and just strive to get better. So as far as hitting left-handed, I think my dad might have forced me to hit left-handed because I don't do anything other than hit a baseball left-handed. So even swinging a golf club, I have right-handed clubs. I'm not really good, but it just doesn't work left-handed. So I think I was forced to hit left-handed, and now it's just kind of a habit. So.
Did you try to model your swing after anybody? Just as you were coming up and trying to learn that left-handed swing?
I think people my age coming up was Ken Griffey Jr. If you're a left-handed hitter, just being smooth, easy swing, and that's a lot of things that we try to teach is just being loose, relaxed, easy swing, and he kind of really showed that on with everything that he did. So I was always trying to emulate Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah. I think we're pretty close in age, and so I think one time I want to say coming into the ballpark, I think you noticed the backpack I have, but it has that Swingman logo on it, and that's because of Griffey. Because if you grew up around the time we did, that was the guy as far as a left-handed.
He was kind of my idol, and I played against him briefly as he was kind of winding down his career. And it was when I moved to the outfield in spring training. I think it was with the White Sox. He tried to go to second and third on me, and I threw him out at third. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And then after the game, he for some reason he came to our locker room and kind of told me, "Hey, good throw, Rook." So that was a cool moment in my career, just being my idol and everything.
Were you nervous when he came over there, or did you just didn't know what to think? Probably.
I was starstruck. I didn't really say too much. I kind of just took it all in, and thank you. And he was kind of busy with someone else, so I kind of just let him be. So. I ended up getting his jersey signed, number 24 with Seattle, and I have it framed in my basement. So I think he knows that I was a pretty big fan.
It's cool. We got another youngster with a question here. It says Noah, who's 10, says, "What are your training recommendations during this layoff?" I think that's for him as a youngster there.
Yeah, obviously it's tough if you don't have a gym, like I said. I would say. Always try to take the positive out of everything. If you don't have weights and maybe anything like that, now's a good time to focus on something else, whether it's conditioning outside, stretching more, doing body weight stuff. There's always something that you can maybe change up and improve on. And maybe this is a good time to, try to do something new. So I think training baseball, it's always about, making adjustments and learning something new. So maybe stretching, doing more conditioning, more body weight stuff. So I think that kind of stuff works for me too. So.
Yeah, and just hearing you mention that, I mean, that was one of those adjustments that I think you and I have talked about that you've made the last couple of years, right? Is doing a lot more of that and less of the weights.
Yeah, I really wish I would have done that earlier in my career. I think it kind of caught up to me maybe, in 16 and 17 where, I just got into a routine where back in the day when I was younger, I could lift weights and go play a game and I was totally fine. But then it kind of caught up to me as I got older. But like I said earlier, this game's about making adjustments, and I had to step back and kind of do that with my training because I couldn't do no training. I just had to do less and do it, pretty much smarter. So it's kind of helped me in the last couple of years.
Okay. And we got the next question is one of those age-old questions, especially for anybody who plays baseball. What's your favorite baseball movie?
Ooh, I just watched it. I think I got HBO and Showtime on at my house, and it's always on. It was Major League, the first one, so it's always a classic, always funny, and it's one of those movies that I think the more you watch it, the better it is. So, um, yeah, I would say there's a lot of good baseball movies. Kevin Costner's in a lot of them, but I would say overall, if I had to pick one, I'd say Major League.
Is that also one of those ones that, um, reminds you of a certain time growing up too? Just because, I mean, when it came out, like I said, again, with our ages being pretty close, like I remember when it came out and first seeing it and everything like that.
I don't even remember when I first saw it. I've always loved it, and I always watch it over and over again. Like I said, I watched it maybe 2 nights ago, and I probably have seen it, 30 or 40 times. So it's just one of those movies that, just being a baseball fan, a baseball player, you kind of enjoy watching and take all the little things with it. Pretty funny.
All right. Um, so and we're getting close to wrapping up time here, but last thing I wanted to ask you at least was, um, your level of optimism that they'll be back on the field pretty soon. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of things going on, things bigger than baseball, obviously, but I think people are, you know, still looking forward to seeing you guys, whether it's at the K or wherever it's going to be, or just being able to see you guys play ball again. What's your level of optimism?
It's I think we're going to play eventually. I don't know when that is, but as far as people talking about it, you kind of communicate with friends, with family, with your teammates, and just people. I think people need something to watch. I'm tired of watching replays and stuff like that. I think sports is a good way to kind of get away from everything that's going on, and with your life, with your world. And I think baseball, basketball, whatever sport it is, it'd be good just to have something to kind of get away and watch and enjoy with other people. So I think MLB is really, and the Players Association know that and want to get something done. It's just a matter of doing the right thing at the right time, and I think eventually that'll happen. Hopefully sooner than later, but we will see. So I'm staying in shape, staying ready to go, and I know all my teammates are too. So I think we're all on board to get things going.
All right. Well, Gordo, appreciate you making the time,
Yep.
answering all the questions. Thank you very much. Take care. We wish the best for you and your family. Stay safe, stay sanitized, all that.
Right on. Thanks. This was fun. We should do it again.
All right. Thank you, Gordo.
All right. Later.